Hey, what's up? Welcome to Rag House Radio, created to empower girls and women in music, sports, and entertainment. We are here at Sunset Gower Studios with AEMG Productions, also with UBN Radio TV. Thank you guys so much for having us. Also, our sponsors for this segment are Sundapple Boutique and Dina Gale Makeup Studios. I'm your host, April Duran, and with my special in-studio guests, without further ado, Girls Gone Vinyl L.A.
Hello.
Hi, ladies. How are you guys?
Good.
Great.
Thank you so much for coming in for my very first interview here. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Of course. How are you guys feeling?
Really good. Yeah.
Happy Saturday.
I know.
What's up? I know we had a celebration last night. Spiñorita's birthday, 21st birthday. Happy birthday, girlfriend.
21st. Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for having, you guys had a long night last night. It was fun. You guys played at Footsie's in celebration. And so if you guys could just go around and introduce yourselves and how long you've been DJing, that would be awesome.
I'm Spiñorita. I've been DJing for almost 10 years now.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming. And you're from Los Angeles.
I am. Yes.
Okay. So you're Angelino.
Yes.
And right to your right.
Priscilla, go by DJ Jazzabella. I started a few years ago, 2009.
2009. God, you guys have been doing this for quite some time. You guys are the pioneers. And you're so young, so you started, when you were 5? Where are you from?
Me? I'm from Boyle Heights,
Okay.
LA. Yeah.
All right. And Muezette.
Hello, I'm Muezette. Same as my DJ name, just Muezette. And I've been DJing for about, I think, since 2012. And
Awesome.
I'm from the Inland Empire.
From the IE.
Yeah.
What's up? So these girls are amazing. Just to let you know, Girls Gone Vinyl L.A., they DJ around the world, vinyl only records. And so this is so unique and so amazing because in the very beginning, back in the 80s, the 70s, this is what they did. It kind of lost its its momentum and its custom because of all the technology, but you guys still held on to that. And I have so many questions for you because I remember when I used to break dance. Yeah, I was a break dancer. What's up? I'm sure a lot of people used to break dance, but I just remember they did that whole vinyl thing. It was crazy, back and forth, back and forth. You know, it's not easy. So whoever wants to start, I know this is the normal question, but I need to know who inspired you guys? Who inspired you guys to DJ vinyl records?
Specifically vinyl, probably my sister, I would say.
How old is she?
She's in her 40s.
Okay, so she's my age.
Yeah,
so that's why.
She bought me my first record.
What was a record? Viz Marquee.
Yeah, Just a Friend. I remember we went to Arizona to visit our aunt, and I saw it at the record store, and it was around Christmas time, and she surprised me when we got home. She gave it to me. Yeah, she's a big music head, so I would say definitely her, my parents, my family, and these girls too. I actually play both digital and vinyl.
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
When I joined the crew about a year ago, I was mostly playing digital. And then met them and saw them killing it. And they asked me to come on. And I was like, yeah. So it was really cool to get back into it. And I started on vinyl, but then, to get back into it was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how about you ladies? Who inspired you guys? What, because I know this equipment isn't cheap either. So you guys had to do a lot of investing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me all the history. I want to know all the...
My mom gave me her old albums, and I don't know why. My sister and I are really obsessed with music, and before I even had a turntable, I was just buying records. And then I bought like a cheap little Newmark. It was like those portable ones, and that was what I wanted. I just kept kind of building on that, and then 2012, I just went for it.
How much is the equipment?
Money. It's expensive.
I got a deal. Mine was like $700 for my pair of tech.
Oh, that's really cheap.
Good.
Yeah. So, but it was a lot of money for me.
That is a lot of money.
My brother hooked me up. He went with one of them. He went to a pawn shop and got me my Newmark mixer and one of my turntables, and then the other one I got on Craigslist, and it was fun. All my homies came, and we all went. We're all excited to pick up my turntable, and it was awesome, but it was expensive.
Oh yeah.
I just got a new mixer, and that was about $1,200.
Gee, see, I knew it went into the thousands. How about you? Who inspired you? And
I started collecting jazz music. I started working at Amoeba, which is down the street.
Right down the street, yeah.
And when I started there, I started collecting records, and I started with jazz, and then I was living in Seattle after I moved here. I moved from here to Philly, and then I moved to Seattle, and then when I was living up there, I started collecting more jazz, and I got offered to do gigs in coffee shops.
Oh, cool.
So I was spinning just jazz music, and when I moved back home, a friend of mine who was a DJ in Chicago, he's from Chicago, and in Chicago he was DJing for about 20 years, and he kind of inspired me to get out here and DJ here back home in LA, and I did so, and I just been sticking with records ever since, and it's building my collection, and I eventually I invested in my own equipment, and I bought my pair of 1200s techniques for $600 for the pair on Craigslist, and then I bought a mixer, very standard mixer, and I just went from there.
Okay, so we're talking about you guys, purchasing and where you started, but the technique. This is a talent, you guys. I know it's, because you guys do the scratching and the mixing and everything, right?
Well, I haven't started the scratching yet, but eventually I want to, because there's different stages of the DJing. You can be selecting, and then you do the mixing, beat juggling, you can do scratching. There's different things.
Oh, okay.
It's a process, though.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, it's really hard. Muezette, do you scratch?
In my room, but not
behind closed doors.
Attempt, I should say.
You probably are really good.
Try.
Yeah.
No.
Have any of you tried to just kind of mess around? Did you have you got brave and kind of try to pull it off?
Not during really gigs. No.
No.
Mm-hmm. I try to imitate a style that people have, but that's just at home, and hopefully I'll get it.
That's a skill unto its own. There's so many different ways of scratching. There's there's the crab, there's even your hand, how you work the fader. I have
this thing is that the fader?
Yeah,
the cross fader. And
I'm used to seeing all that.
I had a friend come by. Shout out to DJ Duel. He came by because he can scratch, and I was just like, okay.
God,
you got it. I'm like, no, I don't.
Well, so that's in your future, or maybe not. But what are you guys? Give us just a little basic idea of what all this entails. One, I know I just carried in your turntables, and that thing was 25 pounds?
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah, it cracked my phone. I was just like, what the heck? These things are heavy, and that's why you said, do we have to bring all our equipment?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no. And then now I'm thinking, oh yeah, you guys need some type of wagon or something.
Yeah.
A DJ turntable wagon.
Yeah.
Right.
But tell us about how, you set up, you get to a gig, you guys bring all your albums. How do you prevent, people not taking your albums, people not scratching, all the fun stuff of being a vinyl DJ?
We usually take gigs that have turntables there, luckily.
Oh, okay, good.
So that helps.
So backline,
so much,
so to speak.
Yeah.
But when we carry our records, it's just wow. It's a lot. On my arm, this arm is always
Yeah.
You have a big muscle.
I hope. Yeah, so we roll in, and we have each other's back. Whenever someone's DJing, we're usually there taking Instagram videos.
Yeah, of course. You
or
have
pictures,
to do the socials.
Content. You have to create content. So yeah, I would never let anybody, come and check out their records unless it was a really good friend. But I don't know. What do you guys?
Well, for the most part, we kind of just, we don't really allow other people to come in and just touch our stuff. We're very protective of it. For the most part, unless it's us, it's her, Muezette, and but if it's just a random person, we're very if you want to see the record, most of the time people ask, oh, what is that? What are you playing? But we've never really had to deal with that so far, luckily. But the kind of stuff that we do get is you'll get somebody that like touches like the record while it's
Right.
spinning or something, and like
Bump into
stuff
it.
like that, or bump into it, and like
so annoying.
just things like that. But for the most part, they don't like go and like look through our records
Through
and
the
all
like at a record store. Yeah.
it's kind of weird.
For those of you, for those of you just tuning in, Girls Gone Vinyl L.A. They're huge. They travel around the world. They DJ with only vinyl records. It's really amazing. They just had a article in LA Weekly, and it went huge. I know I shared it on my personal page, and I got shares and shares and shares, and that thing just blew up. It's like the people knew you're out there. They've seen you play, but it's just so awesome for somebody to actually highlight you guys and what you do and how much work you guys put into.
Yeah, it's a
It
lot
was
of
nice.
work.
Yeah, it was really.
It is a lot of work. Okay, so tell me, you guys have a lot of records, I'm sure. What's your most prized possessed album that you can, that you can say you have? Or maybe you want to keep it a secret. I don't know.
There's 2 albums that I have, and I only see them as like in that way. It's because they're the most expensive records I've bought in so far, and one of them was like, I mean, it's not ridiculous. It's not like $1,000. Like I would buy a car, obviously, but I have a record that's like $100 record, and
That's a lot of money.
Like a lot. So to me, that's like I don't play it out. Like I just play it at home,
Oh,
and that's
I see.
another thing about like DJing too. It's like if we're playing a lot of the stuff that we know like might get a little beat up or whatever, but that's because you're constantly playing it out. But when it comes to like stuff like that, we tend to keep that at home.
All the prize albums.
Yeah.
So I guess you guys don't really want to share what.
I have an album I just bought. It's actually my friend. Shout out to Digo and Kaidi. They're from London, so they just put an album out. I don't know how to speak patois. The title is in patois, but it's in a style called broken beat, and it's kind of like syncopated drums, house, like has a lot of different influences, and I love that record. Like ever since I played it last weekend, and so many people were like, "What is that?" And I just love when that happens. Like just to share new music with people is awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's. Do you have an album you want to share? Because I have a question that I want.
He was my first concert, so my Craig David album, because
Shout out London.
Yeah, well, because when it came out, it was during a time where they weren't putting vinyl out much anymore, so it became a rare record. Based on opinion, whether people think it's good or not, I think it's great.
Yeah.
And so when I finally got to purchase that, I loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I never play it anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's at home, safe in a safe. So, okay, I have one more question, and what we're going to do is, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in, supporting us. Girls Gone Vinyl L.A. We are going to record after this. This is how Rag House is always going to go with AEMG Productions here at UBN. We're going to do a recorded interview and edited. But right now, last question. So when you show up to a gig, what really helps you create what playlist you're going to play? Is it like a playlist that you always have? Do you have like 100 playlists that you already know by heart? How does it work as a vinyl DJ?
I usually practice before the gig and then just kind of see like what the genre is for that particular party, and try to get something down, at least the first couple of records, and then you get in your groove. That's how I work. Me and Muezette talked about that last night, where like you kind of set it up at home and then just start rocking when you're out there. Yeah.
Any
Keeps you on your toes, but I don't know. I guess, I just kind of look, well, for one, I bring way too much.
Of course.
I know, last
all
night
the
I'm like, is that
time.
you?
Mama Bear was making fun of my little Office Depot rolly cart.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
that's
You're
awesome.
set.
Well, not making fun, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I try to bring as many genres as possible, unless I know it's a specific type of thing
Like
they're
country
looking
or-
for. Yeah, or whatever that they're looking for.
Yeah.
Other than that, I try to, because I listen to different types of music, so I try to bring that to possibly cater to whoever I think would be into it or whatever. So,
How about you? Do you?
It all depends, I guess, on the event. Most of the stuff I tend to gravitate towards is like funk. I like a lot of disco stuff, West
Fun.
End stuff, like New York disco.
Danceable.
But I mean, it all depends on what I'm doing. For the most part, I like to stick to like a lot of classics, and I have my preferences, but like I said, it does. It's a process. Usually it'll take me like a day or two to like get a set together, and I always like to take my time with it. And then there's times where I just just grab whatever, and then I'm like improv the set, and that's always fun. But it's always good to practice it, and it's a totally different result. But it's a lot of like time and prioritizing, and and it's because it's vinyl. You have to like go through like the records, like separate them, like put them away, like as opposed to just having it all like right in front of you, like there, and
a stack just for your all.
Yeah, and then that's another thing. I'm a big fan of 45s. So like to me that it's like it's easier to carry. Like you have more to play, and like. So I tend to, when I go digging, I tend to go more with the 45s, and
cool.
That's what I've been doing a lot. Yeah, just playing more 45s and trying to get in the habit of collecting them.
That's awesome.
Because traveling with them, when I went to Amsterdam and carried like 2 cases of 12 inches, it was ridiculous. Like it was a pain. I was like,
smart.
This is why people like travel with laptops or 45s.
Right,
yeah.
45s. That's smart.
But yeah, it's a process, like I said.
Right. So Girls Gone Vinyl Los Angeles right here in studio at Sunset Gower Studios with AMG Productions right here, Rag House Radio, UBN. You guys hold tight. In a couple weeks or so, we'll have an awesome interview production for you. Thank you so much for supporting Rag House Radio and our sponsors, Sundapple Boutique and Dita Gale Makeup Studios. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you soon. Bye, you guys. Thank you guys.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
So much.
Girls Gone Vinyl LA.